Who you work with in a real estate transaction matters. You hear all the time about people giving you advice on which realtor you need to use, the questions you need to ask your realtor, the questions you need to be able to answer, or they need to be able to answer, the things that you need to know about what a transaction looks like. And a lot of times things get pegged on a real estate agent when there's actually a lot of different moving parts within a transaction. You have your lender, you have your title company, you have your realtor, you have your home inspector, you have your appraiser. Like, there's a lot of different pieces and parts. The most visible person is the realtor. And I'm not saying this because I feel like I've been pegged for doing something wrong or whatever. I think we are frustrated at a title company for not being very communicative. And it's odd to me because I feel like every transaction I've done, when I do it with a trusted local title company, it goes well. It's smooth. Even when there are hiccups or clouds on title, we're able to work through the issue relatively easy because we have good communication via text message, via phone call, via email, whatever it is that looks like. Where I'm struggling today is the incorporation of fancy online portals and programs. You've got this beautiful app that has been created to try and make communication easier, and in fact, it has made it even more complicated and hard because you've taken away the human factor of the transaction. So there's this discrepancy on the ALTA, ALTA. That's the settlement statement that shows you what the buyer's going to pay, what the seller's going to pay, what money is going to be going where. And we did not receive that until after the buyers had already signed on this statement, which has not happened with this particular title company before. Like, usually we get it in advance. We've done multiple deals with this title company, and both myself and the seller who were leaving town as we were closing, we had to push the closing just a little bit so it ran into some plans for all of us going. Anyway, long story short, just because a real estate agent is going out of town, just because a seller is going out of town, doesn't mean that everything should be completely derailed. And you should be able to trust the other people that are within your circle to be able to help take care of whatever it is that's happening so that it continues to move smoothly forward. So we ended up closing on this transaction. Everybody has signed the documents and funding has still not happened. And it's because there was a discrepancy. Nobody let us know. And that is just, I think, the most frustrating part in all of this. This is actually twice this year that myself and another agent have had to have conversations because a third party group was not giving us the information that we needed in order to be able to do our jobs well. I can handhold, I can babysit, I can call every day. That is not something that should have to happen in order for a real estate transaction to make it to the finish line. If the expectation is for the realtor to do their job, then the expectation should be for the title company to do theirs and for the lender to do theirs. And we have checks and balances. I have a transaction coordinator that goes through and makes sure that everything is moving forward appropriately and that we're getting what we need on time, no matter who it is that's doing it. But once the transaction is closed, I can't help fix something unless I know that something is wrong. So I reached out to the title company and I said, hey, what is it that's happening here? I've noticed that I haven't gotten my paycheck, that my client hasn't gotten funded. Like, what is happening? And their response was, oh, the buyer's agent was supposed to call you. I'm like, hold up. Buyer's agent is not supposed to call me. You are supposed to tell me when there is a problem so that whenever I do have the conversation with the buyer's agent, I'm not getting the information for the very first time. It was the same thing with this agent that I worked with where his title company was holding funds and would not release them to our title company because of an error on a bank statement. It was like there was a name discrepancy. And so they weren't giving my seller the money because of something on their end, but they did not tell anybody. So we're all sitting here waiting on funds with this elusive issue, and we're having to call and ask and tell us and tell what is going on. And he had no idea. So me as the seller's agent finds out through my title company, who then tells the buyer's agent, and the buyer's agent is sitting here thinking I've been told all morning that everything is fine, good, and smooth. All of this to say, who you work with really, truly does matter. And it is very, very, very rarely that I run into an issue like this whenever we use people that I've consistently worked with and they have a good reputation for making it to the finish line. When people approach me and they're like, hey, I want to use this person and this person, and I've never heard of them before. I mean, I will tell them, I will use whoever you want to. It's not my job to tell you that you should or shouldn't use Joe, Janice, Joyce, whatever. Like that's your job. You get to ultimately make that decision. I can give you my recommendations based off of my experience with different places and different things, but at the end of the day, my job is to help you get to the closing table as smoothly as possible. So-and-so has a reputation for being challenging or won't communicate or is just not kind in the way that they, move you to the closing table. It's just going to make it a lot harder. And it's not even kindness that I want the job to be done well. I want things to get caught in advance. I want to be informed of problems. There are some people who have this desire not to know. Like if you don't know that there was a problem, then they did a good job because they took care of the problem before they brought it to you. That's just not the way that I like to do business. I need to know when things are happening and moving in a southward way so that I can help be part of the solution to the problem, but also so that I don't look like an idiot whenever the time comes that things are getting more important, more volatile, more, like crunch time. I don't want to find out during crunch time that you've been trying to resolve this issue for 3 days without informing me, even though I've been asking the question, hey, what's going on? How's it going? And then being told that it was good the entire time. All of this to say, do your research. If you have a real estate agent that you trust, then ask them for 2 or 3 different people that they trust for the different pieces and parts of a transaction. And maybe you're gonna not have the experience that we had today, but I'm on vacation. I'm literally on a boat right now. My client is on vacation, and back at home, we were supposed to have something finished last week, like the day we were both leaving for our trips. Because of poor communication from our title company, we are both trying to figure it out while our families are doing something very different. So that is your PSA for today. Maybe one day I'll have here's 3 questions you should ask somebody, whatever. But I think moral of this video is, if you trust your real estate agent, then lean into who they partner with. It's a good fit for you, then move forward. If not, again, you're free to use whoever you want. Just know that the communication standard might not be the same. And give your realtor just a little bit of grace whenever it comes to some things, because there are just so many moving parts, and the real estate agent may be the face of the transaction, but there are so many people involved that can make or break it in a lot of different ways.